You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Do you like to make movies? Do you like to make videos? Maybe on YouTube? Maybe you like to make family videos. Those home videos, I believe they call it. The ones that could make it on America's funniest home videos. Whatever videos you're making, chances are if you want to upload it to YouTube, you're going to need copyright-free music. Chances are you may even want some extra shots to throw in for some B-roll, some segue, maybe even some transitions. Well, good news for you. Because for the listeners of Ask Drone U, for the next 7 days, if you go to videoblocks.com/drone, you'll have 7 days of completely free access to the VideoBlocks site, which has hundreds of thousands of videos, copyright-free music, loops, waves, and even motion graphic templates. Literally hundreds of thousands of these things for you to choose from. So don't be one of the guys who doesn't take advantage of this opportunity, which is right now. Go to videoblocks.com/drone to get 7 days of absolutely free access. All right, guys. Well, welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
My name is Rob, and this is episode number 519. Thank you for hanging out with us. Get out and fly. Hope you're having a great week.
Yeah, seriously. If you are finding yourself getting stressed out, you finding yourself depressed from the weather, it may be time to come down to Drone U in the desert Southwest where it's nice and warm. Actually, it's kind of breezy today, but the other day it was 70 degrees. So
and it's going to be 70 degrees here soon. So
I hear this weekend it's supposed to snow.
What?
That's what I just heard this morning.
No, I just heard it was like supposed to be 73 degrees on Friday or something.
But I just heard on the news it's supposed to snow.
Oh,
Which channel did you watch?
I don't. Was it wrong, Ketty?
No, it wasn't wrong, Ketty. But I will say I love meteorologists because they have the job where you can always be wrong and still have a job.
Might be the best job on the planet. Other than a drone pilot? I don't know.
I'm going to go with drone pilots much better because you're outside. You get to see new things all the time and things always constantly change and it's something new and challenging, keeps your mind fresh. You know, it's like, kind of healthy.
Yeah, but to be in a job where you can be wrong and it doesn't matter, like all you got to do is smile and be charming and
be like, "Hey guys, today it's gonna be 94 degrees and raining cats and dogs. I just read the temperature gauge and it says 32 and it's snowing. Sorry about
Whoops.
that.
Oh well.
Well, if you drive down the 405, there's gonna be traffic. I know that for sure, Bob."
No, there's some good, and actually I like Mr. Ronchetti.
I'm glad that you do. But let's talk about important things. We're here to talk about drone-related stuff. Drone-related shenanigans.
So should we play a question?
Play that question, Rob.
Hi, this is Ryan from Pennsylvania. I have a DJI Inspire 1 with the X3 camera. I'm looking for some tips on how to do a time lapse, let's say of a sunset. Do you normally take a video and then speed it up, or do you take photos at intervals? Just wondering tips and suggestions. Thank you.
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
Not had that before.
So, okay, to be honest, I've seen people do it both ways, and I'll just be 100% honest. I've seen some people do time lapses where they fly up, they hover in the same area, which, by the way, if you're going to do a time lapse, you really should do a compass cal right before you do it. Again, don't do it around any magnetic material, any steel, any reinforced concrete. It's really important to have a good compass signal. That way you stay in one place for the time lapse, unless you want to do a hyperlapse.
What's the difference?
A hyperlapse moves. A hyperlapse is a moving time lapse.
Okay.
So you can do a hyperlapse with a Z3 camera just by zooming in slowly. Now you can do, I'm trying to remember which app because now there's two different apps. If you have the Inspire 1, it's the DJI Go app, but if you have the Phantom 4 Pro or the Mavic Pro, it's the Go 4 app. So I'm trying to remember exactly, because in the Go 4 app, there's a time lapse button where now it just it just takes pictures and then auto inputs it into a video, which I love.
That's cool.
But on the Inspire 1, you can't do that yet, at least to my knowledge. You may be able to if they updated the app, so don't quote me on that. It's worth checking out on your own. That being said, I know some guys that just take video. They literally just do 4K video, 24 frames a second, and just let it sit up there and then speed through the video. Now, one thing I will say is, guys, if you're doing a time lapse and you normally shoot 30 frames per second, I would recommend you stay at that interval, 30 frames per second. It'll just make editing easier in the background. But the big mistake I see a lot of people make, Rob, is that a lot of people don't set their white balance. They just leave it at auto white balance. They don't set their... It's really difficult to set a manual exposure value. You can't even set real exposure on the Inspire 1 unless you have the X5. But on the X3, you can go over to manual and leave the ISO as low as you can. If this is you're doing sunset stuff, leave the ISO. Try to lock in the exposure value as best you can. Lock in your white balance. Make sure your style settings and everything are set before you do it. That way, when the light changes, you won't see crazy shifts in light between the video and images, which DJI is notorious for. So it's really important. Also, I would set the exposure at just the center screen. I wouldn't try to set it in any particular place to try to, again, lock in the exposure, because the thing is, if you have an X5, you can lock the exposure, you can lock the ISO, you can lock everything. Like it's really simple. But with the X3, you can't do a couple of those things, so you really have to be careful about the light shifting in the video.
So it's an interesting concept, actually, because I've always thought of time lapses as longer than, say, 20 minutes. I mean, if not hours, right? People go set their camera up and they'll just let it run and run and run. Obviously, if you're putting a drone up in the air, it's going to be up there for 20 minutes, 20-something minutes.
Yeah, but what you can do is just take off and go up to like 50 feet, stay there. Because if you're hovering, remember, it's going to fly a lot longer than normally just flying around. 25
minutes, whatever.
And then land, new battery, go to the same place, start again.
Just keep doing it. Okay.
So,
cool.
And I've seen people do that. Personally, I like the whole hyperlapse, like that flow motion that Rob Whitworth does is so gorgeous. Oh, it's so cool. So cool. I really want him to teach a class here, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not sure we can afford
make it happen.
Yeah, I want to make it happen.
So what do people, why would somebody want to do a time lapse? I mean, just besides their personal pleasure and enjoyment.
Okay, so our last podcast was talking about presentations and demo reels and whatnot. If you do a demonstration on the fact that you can do construction progress photos and you show photos, that's going to impress some people, right? If you do videos, that's going to impress some people. If you can do a time lapse of a house being built from the same place and you go there like 3 or 5 times a week and then constantly show the house being built, people are going to think that's really cool.
That would be it. I mean, I can just picture it and it is cool.
Yeah. Now imagine, let's take it to the next level. Okay. Now imagine that this is what I did for my construction presentation, by the way. So people are learning a little secret right here. I went to multiple different construction sites. And I took the center point and did a point of interest out to, I think it was 200 feet at each site. And then I would take video and I did like 10, 15 different sites. So what I'm doing is that the flight path is just a constant circle, but the building is changing as we're flying in a circle. So let's take it one step further.
So that's like a multi-dimensional time lapse.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Let's take it one step further, okay?
I don't think I can. I'm tapped.
Okay, so the next step is if it's one single construction project, and now we're doing a hyperlapse where we're doing a time lapse, but now we're actually moving around the building as the time lapse is going. So you're seeing the building being built, but we're also moving around
but from different perspectives.
Exactly.
Dig it.
That's the hyperlapse.
But if you did that for all the 10 projects, now you're really moving.
Oh, yeah.
Cooking with gas, Paul.
I'm glad you took it to the next level.
That's pretty cool.
Right?
That is cool.
You see how you can elevate the different levels of what you're showing people? I mean, like...
So how do you incorporate something, I don't know if this question makes sense, but how do you incorporate that kind of thinking into sunrise?
into sunrise.
Or landscape. You know, I guess you could do different angles of landscape.
Here's
Sunrise,
what you could do is that you could do a really big hyperlapse, let's say, of the Sandias, right? So let's say that you did a 2 or 3 day hyperlapse, which each night you're going out to sunset, right? And you're capturing the sunset. And then the next night you move, say, a mile over. And the next night you move a mile over. And the next night you move a mile over. So now you're doing this half moon motion across the mountain. And you're seeing sun come up, sun go down, sun come up, sun go down, sun come up, sun come down. Or you can just do the sunset and just take say 30 seconds from each spot and then clip them all together. And now you're hyperlapsing around the mountain as you're seeing different sunsets come together.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
Could be really cool. Huh.
Dude, I could, honestly, if there wasn't Drone U, I'd be doing stuff every single day. Like I would go down to White Sands and do stuff. I would go to Angel Fire and do stuff. Like it would be all over the place because my mind is just constantly like on fire with ideas, as you know. You get my text messages in the middle of the night.
We know when Paul's brain dumping when we start getting a lot of texts.
Boom, 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 boom. There we go.
Yeah. Paul has a friend who does the same thing.
Oh, man.
Anyways, that's a good question. Guys, if you have a question like Ryan did, go to astronew.com, send it in. We'll get to it just as quickly as we can. We really appreciate every single question that comes in, and some of you have sent them in, and we haven't gotten to them yet. Bear with us. Be patient. We do appreciate it, and we're doing our best to get to all of them.
Yeah, we are. And guys, thank you again for the reviews on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you download podcasts. It really means a lot. If you listen and you want to watch, go to YouTube and subscribe there. But otherwise, that's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
My name is Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.